Hey there, how's it going everyone? This is Mime. Welcome back to my channel where I figured we'd take a short break from all the computer related stuff and we'd review a phone which came out this summer and to which I switched recently, and that is the OnePlus 3. OnePlus has been trying hard and succeeding at that to establish its brand and phones in today's competitive market. This is the fourth phone they've released so far and it's still positioned as an appropriately priced flagship killer. So this phone is still going for $399 US and they've dropped the horrible invite system. So this means you can get this phone freely off contract from their website or other e-tailers. This is a unibody aluminum built chassis sporting a 5.5-inch display with a 73% screen to body ratio. At upwards of 150mm in height and 75 in width, it is a hefty phone for sure. The feel in hand is great, although you can imagine this is quite slippery. The clean back only sports the integrated antenna bands and the milled-in OnePlus logo, followed by the camera module and LED flash. It comes with the latest Snapdragon 820, the first chip from Qualcomm to implement its Cryo cores instead of ARM's own Cortex. The big thing here is that 820 does not suffer from the overheating issues that 810 did. It also has the latest and greatest Adreno 530 GPU, of course. OnePlus's ideology is to not skimp on the horsepower built into its phones, so the 3 is not deviating here, as along with the Snapdragon 820 there's no less than 6GB of LPDDR4 and 64GB of UFS storage on the base model. Undeniably, there's a lot in this package at only $399. The phone has a slim build at only 7.4mm in thickness and weighing less than 160 grams. This comes as a dual SIM device, which is a plus for people that travel a lot and want data separately, but this comes at the cost of no expandable storage, which is a drawback for those who find 64GB onboard storage not enough. The right of the device has the SIM tray along with the power button, and on the left we have the volume rocker and the hardware silent/quiet switch. Although directly opposing, I never failed to press the wrong switch so far, so I can say that the tactile feel and positioning is good. The top of the device is clean, as they've opted for a lower 3.5mm jack alongside a single speaker with 6 drilled holes. In the center we have a Type-C USB connector, which at this point in time can be both a good and a bad thing. Good for the speeds and its reversible nature, of course, and bad since normal micro USB cables are much more common and abundant in your house at the moment than Type-C. The phone comes with OnePlus's own dash charging, which is technically superior to Qualcomm's own implementation, with one major drawback. It only works with their own cable, so off-the-shelf Type-C connectors would only charge the phone at normal speeds. Essentially, dash charging relies on a 4A charger that incorporates most of the electronics needed for fast charging directly on the unit itself instead of the phone. This keeps the phone cool during the charging operation, essentially extending the battery life and being more safe. Since we're talking about charging, OnePlus states that it's capable of 60% charge in 30 minutes, and I can confirm this. It is extremely fast, so much so that I've given up on overnight charging and just top it off whenever it gets low. As for the battery life, I'm quite satisfied with its 3000 mAh battery. I wake the phone very often during the day and use it for normal stuff, most of the time on mobile, not wireless. I keep the screen at 50% brightness, and as you can see, I am at 2 hours and 20 minutes usage screen on time with 47% charge left. Let's talk about the center button, which is also the fingerprint reader. This is solid state, no moving parts. The fingerprint reading speed is outright phenomenal. There is less than a 1 second delay between finger on the button and unlocked phone. There's also an extremely low rejection rate if it's set up properly at the beginning. Also, just touching the button while on registers as home, so there's no force involved in this, much like on-screen buttons. Speaking of that, you have the option of switching to on-screen, and also you can swap the two capacitive back and multitask buttons to the left and right of the fingerprint reader. If you don't like the lights on them, of course, you can also turn them off. There's gesture support, so if you want to quickly turn on the backlight, you can draw a V or turn the camera on by drawing an O. The notification LED's color can be changed, so what I'm trying to get to is that there is lots of customization available here. And in general, although running a custom ROM called Oxygen OS, this is very similar to base Android, but manages to add some customization stuff to keep things more interesting. I appreciate the built-in color temperature slider, the dark mode option that switches the menu background to black, and already mentioned button options. The OS is very fast and responsive, but this is expected for a phone with a Snapdragon 820 and a 1080p display. The 6 gigs of RAM is awesome since most of the apps are kept in memory and switching between apps is extremely fast. OnePlus has a limit of 32 apps concurrently kept in RAM, and I honestly don't know why this is, but I guess it's a step up from only 20, which was the limit when the phone started shipping. Alright, so display, you're looking at an optic AMOLED 1080p display with 401 ppi density. The drawback is that it uses a pentile arrangement of the subpixels, so effective resolution or perceivable sharpness is theoretically and practically lower than an RGB matrix display. Truth of the matter is that unless you are holding the phone obscenely close to your face, this is not bothersome. I have perfect vision and have used 1440p displays, and this does not bother me. The fact they've opted for AMOLED versus LCD is another discussion, as both have their pros and cons. I have no color meter to test the display, but I can give you my honest opinion. So colors are not overblown as you'd expect from an AMOLED, they are vibrant enough for an enjoyable experience, contrast is of course excellent with great blacks, nothing surprising. Max brightness could be a bit better for a 2016 AMOLED, but it is enough for powerful sunlight viewing. Minimum brightness is also okay and can get quite dim for viewing in pitch dark, and there's also a night mode which, as far as I can see, only switches the color temperature to extremely warm. The only real gripe I have with the display is that our minimum brightness, which I use a lot during nighttime, there's color degradation and shift. Other than this, viewing angles are okay, and there's the definite benefit from having a 1080p instead of 1440p display, both in battery life and performance. Speaking of which, as much as I hate synthetics on phones, since raw hardware power means nothing without a fast OS and properly coded apps, here's Geekbench 3 and 4 on the phone with truly respectable scores here, as should be. 3D Mark's Linkshot scores an awesome 2476 with the Ice Storm Unlimited benchmark coming in at over 29,000. AnTuTu is rocking upwards of 135,000 as well. This is most certainly one of the fastest Android phones on the market right now, but leaving this aside, this feels fast, and this is the most important thing here. From the fast fingerprint reader to the fast app switching to fast gaming performance, keyword is fast, so no complaints here. Last but not least is the camera, and yes, it protrudes out of the back, so for anyone extremely bothered by this, then this might not be the phone for you. It's a 16 megapixel shooter on the back and 8 megapixel on the front. The back sensor sports OIS, optical image stabilization, which is awesome of course. Also, the minimum f2.0 aperture is preferred, as lower f-stops on phones, or otherwise for that matter, tend to be a little bit softer. The pixel size of the sensor is 1.12 micrometers, and the AF system is phase detection instead of laser AF on the previous OnePlus 2. It also shoots 30 fps 4K video and 120 fps slow motion 720p. The colors are pleasing without being unrealistic. It certainly has a touch of saturation applied to it, but I don't necessarily mind this. The app is fast to start up, fast to focus and take a photo. If it doesn't have to refocus between shots, it's as fast as you can touch the shutter button. With the help of the OIS, it does good in low light situation, managing crisp shots most of the time. The video also looks good now that OnePlus have upped the bitrate on this, so now this is using 54 megabits per second instead of 42, and this alone makes quite a difference. Just for comparison purposes though, a modern 4K capable SLR or mirrorless uses 100 megabits per second bitrate. Time to wrap this up, and I'll just leave you with my bare, honest thoughts. I am generally pleased by the phone, and I think it's an awesome device punching above its price category, which is the intended idea by OnePlus. I like the design, I like the speed, the screen is good except the color shift at low brightness, and the camera is fast and takes quality pictures. I am not an avid smartphone camera user, so this is more than enough for my needs. I appreciate the customization options built into Oxygen OS, as well as the great battery time and charge times this phone has. Would I recommend this phone for anyone else? Definitely, there's always some compromises made with phones these days, and the 3 certainly doesn't misalign itself in this aspect. I'm referring to no expandable storage here and the proprietary dash charging cable mostly. I get the design decisions though, such as the 1080p screen, protruding camera and non-removable battery, and I have no qualms in the end with them. And that's it, guys and gals, and remember, I want to see your comments, questions and suggestions down below. Thank you for supporting this channel by subscribing, and see you next time everybody. Bye bye.